Indeed. Let's take you live to Pretoria. Tamara Mahlangu from the Commission for Gender Equality there. Thank you for being with us. Let's start with International Day Against Homophobia. What does that mean for the Gender Commission?
Thank you very much for having me this evening. I just want to say good evening to your listeners and good evening to your viewers out there. This is a big day for all of us in South Africa and abroad, because this day is the day of International Anti-Homophobia Day, which is basically a day where we celebrate around the world, and we remind each other about the attention that is out there in terms of discrimination and violence and hate speeches that are faced by the LGBTI community in South Africa and abroad. And I know that this is the day that is celebrated annually, which is the 17th of May. And for CGE, which is Commission for Gender Equality, it's a big day where we go all out and we meet communities and we run clinics and we do campaigns in order to raise awareness around the country.
If you look at the trends, we're running a poll tonight. Is South Africa less homophobic or more homophobic, becoming less homophobic or becoming more? And most people say becoming more. Are you worried about trends right now?
The trends are very worrying, because what we've been seeing in South Africa is that we have a very progressive constitution in South Africa, which basically affords all South Africans, irrespective of race, irrespective of class, gender, sexual orientation, that minimum requirement of everybody to enjoy human rights in South Africa, and again, to make sure that we all enjoy the freedoms that the Constitution is affording us. So again, you would expect that 23 years down democracy, everyone else should have at least have a change of attitudes and behaviors towards this particular community, LGBTI community. So those figures that are slowly escalating, going up, is really worrying, because it looks like all the gains have been reversed in South Africa in general.
And why? We know we have problems with patriarchy. I mean, that's linked to gender issues and homophobia, misogyny. But why are we moving backwards rather than forwards?
Yes, basically, I think there has been a focus on particular groups and neglecting certain communities that would actually be perpetrating all these kinds of violent acts. And again, I think if for an example, you take what is happening in universities currently, where we see a lot of killings, that are happening in universities, where you would even think that in a university is supposed to be a place where it's a safe haven for students, particularly girls and LGBTI communities. And this is where the killings are happening. And I think there has been a group that has been left behind in terms of raising awareness, educating these groups about the implications and the lives of the LGBTI in our communities. And again, if you go out to other communities in rural areas, where you would find that the expectation culturally, young girls and young boys are expected to behave in a certain manner. So if they come out and they say that today I'm a lesbian or I'm gay, you will find that the whole entire community cannot accept that particular person. So I think there has been a lot of issues around reach and making sure that people are educated around accepting certain groups in our communities. So I think this is why we are slowly seeing an escalation in terms of violence crimes that are perpetrated towards LGBTI.
All right, thank you very much. A call for tolerance. This International Day Against Homophobia, that was Tamara Mahlangu from the Commission for Gender Equality.